do you feel like Pittsburgh kind of prepared you to be, because my point maybe was more of, do you think that that PT schools are trying more or less, I know Pittsburgh's probably, I think they're top one, they're top like five in the nation for PT schools, but that other PT schools may not be preparing their students for the real world. Rather, they're just getting them ready for the boards, and they're not maybe getting the clinical skills they need, because when they get out, they're like, okay, well, what am I doing here? I have this person's knee hurts, but they came in here crying, but they're not really like, their knee hurts, but it's also because their family member died, or like the secondary stuff. Do you think that do you think PT schools are preparing kids enough, and do you feel like there should be more done maybe in PT school that they need to learn about those other secondary things?
I think, yeah, I think Pitt, hail to Pitt. Yeah, number one, actually. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't usually say it often, but you set me up there. Hail
Yeah.
to Pitt, number one. And I think Pitt really did a good job of preparing us for a
Mhm.
lot of those conversations. I've had students from 3 or 4 different programs. So I know they're doing a better job of teaching the variables and the biopsychosocial side of things. And so I feel a little biased because the psychologically induced or psychologically informed physical therapy practice, that's kind of like been Pitt's one of like bigger pushes in the last few years of really
Mhm.
understanding, the person in front of you. And so I think that we're getting better at it. I actually really like how social media is bringing different viewpoints and different ways of thinking about clinical reasoning to the masses. And so I'm like seeing SPTs, future physical therapists, current physical therapists, new grads, all kind of starting to think outside of the box, which I think is only getting us further away from just the sheer pathoanatomical approach.
Yeah, I agree. And when you said that your final year of PT school was kind of like subspecialized, I thought that was like amazing. I remember talking to my other classmates, and that's what we wanted to do. But we had thankfully a lot of clinical time at Buffalo. We had a year's worth of clinical time, but there was times where I was kind of like, well, why am I doing this? I really have no interest in doing this post, school. I not it wasn't more or less the curriculum. It was more of, we had to do a setting in acute, subacute, and then ortho. But then anything else after that, you can do what you want. But when I was in the subacute, it was like bashing my head against the wall. It was the worst, for me anyway. I just didn't find it wasn't what I knew, it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I think it would have been beneficial maybe from a last year perspective, be like, okay, I want to focus on ortho, or I want to focus on concussion, or I want to focus on whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, and I like in PT school, like I never actually had an acute care setting. Like
Wow.
I've actually never had an acute care experience, which was a little bit of a challenge with travel because most jobs want experience in that
Yeah.
setting. Um, but yeah, we were able to kind of go down more of a like specialized approach with our clinicals at Pitt, which I think was really beneficial, especially for like we had the year-long clinical was our third year, but throughout our didactic curriculum, our first and second year, we always had part-time clinicals. So we just had like so much clinical time and experience, and then being able to spend a full year in the clinic, um, 2 6-month rotations, like we were able to get up to the point of carrying a full caseload, which is like difficult to do as a
Mhm.
new, as a SPT or a new grad. So I think more experience is just key for that, improving that confidence when you're coming out. And I do think that Pitt did a good job with that,
Mhm.
um, in that regard. But
Yeah, and it definitely differs from area to area. When I was in Buffalo, when I first started out there, my patient caseload, I mean, it was like 2, 3, sometimes 4 patients an hour. And now that I'm out here, I'm just seeing patients one on one, and it's so much better. But like, I didn't know that existed up until the point where I decided to move.
yeah,